So we're going to go from talking about filament recycling to just the fabulous world of filament. Not just that, but Courtney is such a fantastic resource for talking about life as a creator, things that I'm sure many of you creators can relate to. That exposure does not pay the bills, right? We talked a little bit on our panel yesterday about learning how to negotiate, advocating for ourselves, brand values. So I'm going to let her tell you all about it. Without further ado, Miss Courtney Blum of Filament Stories.
So printed, design and make your ideas real.
Oh, my hair looks so much better in that picture. Okay. Good morning, everyone. And I can't tell if Rudy is still here, but I just want to say what they're doing with Recycling Fabric is so amazing. I met him 3 years ago at Formnext, and everyone was wanting to go interview them because they were doing something that no one else was doing. And I talk to people about filament all the time, right? Because that's what I love. And so, where can I recycle it? People are saving all of their failed prints. They're saving stuff. They've got it in bags. I have bags in my attic, right? Until there is a resource place that we can send it. And we just don't have anything in the United States. And so I think, I can't remember how many times Recycling Fabric has doubled in size because in the first year. So I just am so impressed because they're also doing something, and Rudy said this too, that they said it couldn't be done 100% recycled because in general you need to have some virgin material, and they said, no, we can do this, and they've made it possible. So someday if there's tours, I'm coming over. I want to go on a tour, okay? Yeah, get in line. Right, get in line, right? Because we all want to go see how it's done. There's some magic happening there. So I wanted to talk a little bit today. We talked a lot in the panel yesterday about content creators and how we can advocate for ourselves and sort of stick together. We didn't really talk about sticking together, but I am with a group of content creators, and I know there's multiple groups around, and we try to help each other out. So it's really nice because you can say, hey, I've got a company that's approached me, and oh, hi. Was that supposed to be? That's supposed to be natural. But a group of content creators and say, I've got this company that's approached me, and we'll get, hey, I'm not sure, or that's a great company, absolutely work for them, or hey, do this, but you should ask for more. So things like that. So we want to stick together, and I find that so really encouraging in this community that everyone wants to stick together, and we seem to want to grow together. The majority of the people, we want to bring everybody up, and that so we can, I always like the message that you don't want to try to get a bigger piece of the pie, we want to make the pie bigger. And I just think that's with 3D printers and companies and all of us, we just want to get more people into this hobby that we're all addicted to. And it's not a hobby for some of us, it's our job. Hobby to your jobby, right? Actually, are you still doing your podcast?
Been on a bit of a hiatus.
On a hiatus, okay. All right, Repcord and 3D Gloop, you guys had something where you all were talking about ways that I guess anyone in 3D printing could take whatever you're doing as a hobby and turn it into a job. And a lot of us are doing that. And I've talked to people here today and yesterday. Well, not much today. I just got here. And then I was given a mic. So what can we do as just overall a larger group? Because not everyone here is a content creator. In fact, a lot of people aren't content creators. A lot of people have no interest in being content creators. And yet this is something that through 3D printing in some way, shape, or form, you want it to be something that you can do full-time or hopefully can do a decent part of your time. And so what are ways that can be done? And one way is that you have your 3D printers and you are printing models and then you're selling them. And you might be selling them on Etsy, you might be going to flea markets or craft shows and selling them. It could be models that you are licensing from another creator. They could be your own designs. And there are a lot of people that's really enjoyable to them. And so something that is an area that I'm not really good at, but I think is something you want to see if you can talk to other creators is what is a good way that you can find a price point for that. Selling on TikTok Shop. It has become very competitive, and I see that that is something that I think makes me a little sad, honestly, because people who are doing that, well, I need to make sales. It's important to make sales to continue doing this. And so a lot of times it's who is at the lowest price. And so that's something, and I don't have any advice for that because that's not an area that I don't sell stuff. I just like to give it away. I got stickers. If you're here if you're here today and you haven't seen me, I have stickers. Come see me because I want to give them to you. But another thing is, what if you are a designer and you are designing models, and then you want people to know about your models so that perhaps they can either purchase one for an individual cost, or maybe they want to sign up for Patreon or a Thangs membership. And how do you get awareness for that? So that's why I don't even know what this is called. What was it? Exposure doesn't pay the bills. Real talk about creator compensation. So in exposure, I like to replace that word and say that we are all content creators in a way. And I'll use an example of ForgeCore. If you have not seen ForgeCore's work, go check it out, right? He is a designer. He's done a lot of really fun designs where he's sitting at his desk. What can I do if I'm bored? And you can play, it's got a little golf. He's got a little bowling, and it's fun, and ding, and it goes across the desk, and then he's got a little tube, and it comes back. And he's done a lot of fun things. He's got a cactus, and you push down on the cactus, and they are toothpicks. So many fun designs, and they look beautiful. Plants. I don't go with plants. I have plants that are on my shelves, and they're fake, and they're his, and people walk over, and they're like, wow, this is... Anyway, but what did he do as a content creator? He creates 20 to 25-second videos that are showing what his model does. And he's put them on YouTube. So that when you go to his Thangs listing, you're like, picture, oh, look, a video. And you watch the video. He's got over 1 million followers now. So he's a content creator. I think he might be in a couple, but basically he's doing that so that he can raise awareness for his models. And I think that's a great idea. If you are selling models, also showing that. So so how many people in here are in 3D printing? You are doing it in some way as a full-time job or part-time job, but you're not a content creator. How many people? Okay, yes, so there's a good percentage of it. Okay, how many of you here are model designers? Yeah, see, a lot of people are model designers. I want to know about all of you all. Because that's one of the things that I do, is I have filament, and I want to show filament, and I need models. And I need models that make that filament look great. Because I feel like my job is to make every filament look as best as it can, and then I make videos about it. I have a really easy job, by the way, because back in time, when we first got our first 3D printer, I didn't know if the filament that we were going to put in it would clog the nozzle, and there was a lot of questionability in filament. Most filament these days is going to print fine, and the printers these days are a lot more flexible, and so I have a really easy job. I just get to show pretty filament. Yeah, I know. I'm like, every now and then I get something that's sketchy, but most of the time it's actually great. So, but yeah, if you're a designer, for those of you who are designers, are you creating some sort of video or something to show? Who's creating videos? Yeah, okay. So we are content creators, and hopefully we can get awareness so that people can buy them or sign up for a membership. And that's something that I have heard is also a lot of people have a membership that involves a license to sell prints, not the STLs or 3MFs, right? What's the price point of that? And I have heard people say, I put it up at a certain price, and I've gotten people saying it's too high. But we obviously have to look at our peers. And then I really would say, make sure that you're not undervaluing yourself. I cannot tell you the number of people who have started a Patreon, and I have joined the Patreon because I'm a little bit of a Patreon fan. I love supporting people. I love supporting people's work. And I will message them and say, you need a tier higher than $5. So I see Mars Gizmo is over here. His brother, Mihai Steinmeier, he had his Patreon when he started it, and I have been watching his stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this stuff. By the way, I'm a little bit of a rambler. My husband will say, back on track. So if I get off track, but he had, yeah, you can just point at me. I'm like, oh, I did it again. But he started his Patreon, and he gave me some excellent advice over the time that he was doing that. But he had a tier that was $25, and they just enjoyed his work. He had some products as well that he was working on. But he then had a $50 tier. And I had asked him about it, and he said, well, I put the $50 tier up to make the $25 tier look smaller. And then people joined the $50 tier. So he put a $100 tier up. And so I thought that was such great advice. And I have told people about it. We have guinea pigs, and there was a lady, and I have gotten so much advice from watching Squeak Dreams. If you have guinea pigs, such cute. And she started a Patreon, and she did that. It was like $5 was her top thing. And I was like, hey, come on. And she's like, well, the other people in here, they don't. And I'm like, don't worry about it. Put it in there to make it look like $5 is small, as that $2.50 or $3, whatever. She was in the UK, so I don't know, it was pounds. But yeah, so in any case, don't undervalue yourself. If you're going to do something like Patreon, don't feel bad about putting those higher dollar prices up there. If no one joins it, no one joins it, right? That's okay. It doesn't say anything negative about you if you do that, I think. If somebody says that, don't worry about them. Right? And then the selling of the models, I feel really bad. I can't give a lot of advice on that. I would hope that we could all raise up, because people see, I'm in the US, Happy Meals, and they come with a plastic toy. And that's free. So then they see something that someone took and 3D printed, and as much as you can say it's easy to push the button and it pops out, we all know that 5 minutes is never 5 minutes with 3D printing, right? I got to go down there. Where have you? Oh, well, there was a problem with the. So I would like to see if we could all raise each other up. So hold on. I lost my train of thought. I'm going to go get some water and pretend like I meant to do that. But Daniel, where's Daniel? You're right there. I was talking to you yesterday. Right, and you have some, okay, Kaizen 3D, when are you presenting? 4:30. Okay, if you're still here, you do not want to leave. Oh my gosh. He has got some, go look up Kaizen 3D if you don't know who he is, and then stay, because, oh my goodness, he's going to pass out some stuff, and you're just going to drool. Okay, I promise you.
Don't drool on the stuff.
No, don't drool on it. Yeah. I mean, you'll be like, this is beautiful. Yeah, this is, actually, yeah, it is washable, right? It is washable. Oh my gosh. No, seriously. But we were having a conversation yesterday because, right, you are doing something that I think is amazing, and that's you are on, is Instagram mostly? What is your primary platform?
Instagram is what I started with. And
Okay.
Cross-posting.
Cross-posting. So he's doing some really interesting things, but you also aren't gatekeeping. You want to enable people to do what you're doing. And so he's doing these live streams, and anyone can come in and ask questions, and you're talking about what you're doing. And I think that's great, but you have had a lot of awareness raised about what you're doing because of that. But then again, selling things, and you've gotten some feedback that these prices are too high, and they're unique custom designs. So I guess let me think. Does anybody have any questions? Let's see if we have questions first, and maybe we'll go a direction from there.
I definitely.
You have a question, Paige?
I definitely have questions.
Okay,
for you.
go a question.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to comment on is actually about your brand. When you first came up with the title Filament Stories, one of the things that I do professionally for Prusa is we're always looking for creators to work with and all this stuff. And I've really been encouraging new creators to focus on application, not so much that here's some machines, here's some filament, good luck. But
Yep.
it's like, what are you going to do with it? And that's why I love the concept of filament stories. It's so encompassing. It's not just about the filament, but it's like all the amazing things that we can do with it. Was that the vision from the jump for you, or did it just?
Okay, yeah.
Tell us about the origin story.
The origin. So first of all, normally when I get shirts made, I do the logo here and then a big one on the back. And this one came, and I was like, oh my goodness. So this feels very loud. I feel like I'm yelling at you all today. So anyway, but it's very colorful. It's just I could put it on backwards. Oh, why didn't I do that? So filament stories. I love filament. My husband was like, "Why are you buying all this filament?" And I was like, "They're all different colors. I love them." And I said it in that voice. And so I really felt like you have a 3D printer, and that's great, and it is endless possibilities. But when you're done 3D printing something, the 3D printer isn't involved. You have an object, or objects, or whatever it is, an entire place setting that you made, and so. That's why I was excited about the filament, because that is where the possibilities are. And I was really frustrated because the packaging and the pictures were very poor. When we've been doing over 4 years, filament stories, but prior to that, I was looking at stuff, and so I was really frustrated because I couldn't see what the filament looked like. And so I was like, well, fine, I'm buying it. And then that's why I wanted to, and there weren't close-up shots. Companies do such a good job in comparison today. They will have close-ups, they'll have models and you could see. I want a super macro of the filament though, and we're still not getting that. But then if it's a transition filament, they will explain, like I want to know, okay, it's an 8-meter transition. But if you're new to 3D printing, that's not as helpful, as they'll show 3 pictures a lot of times, and they'll say, if you do a model that's this big, you'll get 2 colors, and so if you're new, I think that's really helpful. So we're getting so much more information now than we were before. There's one company, and they didn't even take the filament out of the bag. Their website had pictures of it in the bag. Can't you sacrifice one to show us what it looked like? Anyway, great filament, but so that was So filament stories was that I was talking to a friend one day, and he's not even around anymore doing 3D printing. But he thought I was crazy because I was always going, and I was like, oh, I found another filament company. I mean, I was like obsessively. I will find it all. I was Pokemoning filament companies, right? And so I wanted to find them. And so he was like, why are you doing this? But then I said something, and he said, well, I guess every filament has a story. And that right there. And so he doesn't remember saying it. And I'm like, man, you nailed it. And I ran with it.
There you go.
He also nailed my
was
closet
born.
under the stairs, the filament fallout shelter. Good question.
Hold on, I'm going to bring the mic to you so they can hear you on the stream.
Thanks for your talk. I love rambling stories.
I feel better.
No, honestly, I was wondering. You mentioned like you're looking for designers to showcase specific filaments.
Yeah.
For me, as a designer, I'm looking for filaments to inspire my designs. So that's the circular thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
do you ever work together with people trying to get that circle to flow well?
Yes, we do work with people. We have on the website, I think there's a work with us thing. And so there is a contact. Now, I will say, and this actually, and I mentioned it in the talk yesterday when we had the panel, and I think that this, I have to admit, this is a luxury, right? Because I have a producer, and he is so great, and he does initial communication. Because when you get, that was what the message was, as soon as you get a little bit, and it can happen a lot earlier than you might expect, you're going to start to get a lot of inquiries. And the first thing you have to figure out is, what inquiries do you just ignore? Because there's a significant portion of them that you ignore. There's also some that will say, we will boost your, whatever. They're going to help you get there. Those also are in the ignore category. To me, I don't know of anyone that has ever had a positive result from that. It's more of it's sort of a leech. They're taking your brand and benefiting from it, not you. But yeah, so I had somebody, but that is a great thing. So I'm always looking for something that will show the film. And so it seems like it should be easy, right? I have all this filament. I have a huge amount of filament, and I love it. And
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And I collect it. So this is like, I'm weird, right? So I like to have collections. And so I really only want one of every spool. And I want to keep them all. And so someday feel free to laugh at this, but someday when we all have Matter compilers, right, and we're not doing FDM 3D printing anymore, I want to have the FDM 3D printing museum. And you can come and look at all the crazy colors, right? That's what I want to do. And my producer, he'll come to visit like 3 times a year, and he loves it because he can go grab filament and do stuff. And then he learned very quickly that, wait, what is that? You can print with it, but you can't get below half a spool, right? Because I knew they don't make that anymore. But so, yeah, filaments to be inspired by, that is a tricky one. There is a filament librarian. Have you heard of the filament librarian? Okay, look up the filament librarian. I think it's filamentlibrary.xyz. I know it ends in .xyz. Now, he has a massive collection, and he is still collecting. And what he does is he needs like something like 1 meter of filament, and he takes a swatch of it, and he has a specific swatch, and then he gets it light accurate, right? Somehow he does so that when he gets a photo of it, the color is true and accurate, so that if you're looking for a color, so I've had friends, someone said that their friend worked for the company BLU, it's a vape company, and it has a specific blue color, and he said he wanted to print something, did I know of a blue that matched that? So I went and I found the hex color for that, and I went over to the filament librarian, and then I was able to find some. So that's a great way to find colors that match something. Now, filament is coming out so fast, and we were super sidetracked, but I talked about filament all day long, but filament is there's so many companies coming out with so many now that I think it's just a small percentage, but that'll give you maybe a start. But that is, I am trying to find a specific filament, and you're just saying, I'm trying to be inspired by filament, right? Anyone have any ideas? Go ahead. Filament colors? Filamentcolors.xyz. Thank you. Filamentcolors.xyz. It's definitely worth bookmarking that one because that's great. And people are giving him swatches. I think he was 500 behind last I heard, but he's still trying to get them done.
Can I add something real quick, and then
Yes.
we'll take another question?
Yeah.
I got to say, I love that because that question specifically, because you are a fantastic connector of people, and it occurs to me the collaborative potential that you have. You sit in a neat space between the printer manufacturers and the designers and the filament producers.
Yes.
And you're just kind of bringing it all together. That's one of my favorite things about your channel.
Yeah.
You have a lot of different directions that you can go.
I know. I get to work well, and
you're very collaborative and connected-minded too. So.
Oh, and I said it's the hardest thing is, so I have all this filament. I thought I came back. I have all this filament, but when it's time to actually go to print something, a lot of times I have a challenge because I'm working with a specific company. Like sometimes I'll do a print with a bunch of colors because I'm just going to do it. But a lot of the times I'm trying to show filament. I want to show this company's filament. So in that video, I'm going to use just that company's filament. And it might be only one color. There are a lot of people that have printers that do one color. Even though it seems like when you see online, the content creators, they all have multicolor printers. But when I do content, a lot of times it is parts that you can put together because a significant portion of people only have single color. So sometimes it's tricky because I'm trying to find something that fits. I'm trying to find a model, right, that works well with the filament that I'm working for that video.
Can we take another question?
I think we can.
You need some water?
Yeah, I'm going to get water. You go.
Who's got a question for Courtney?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Some really good rambling talk, Courtney. So I'm really enjoying it.
I'm way off topic.
You mentioned something earlier about Patreon and knowing how to price yourself a Patreon. How do you know when you're ready or when you've got enough to offer Patreon? My big fear would be that, to set something up and then basically run out of steam too quickly.
That's a great question.
It's a very good question. And I have talked with people who I think didn't wait too long, could have gone earlier. As far as model designing, I think that I have seen people that have designed a number of models so that you have an idea how people are reacting to your models. People are really enjoying your models. And so you know that you've got something there. And then some people will start early enough with the statement that every month, this is what you will get. right? And here's the base set. So sometimes having that base set of that gives you a basis. And before Patreon was really popular, I know Wexter, Clockspring, and Fotis Mint were all over on My Mini Factory, and they sort of got to know each other, and they all had a decent number of models, and they decided to go at the same time. And at that point, but they had like 80 models, so it was a lot. Other people like ForgeCore, I think, and I can't remember this exactly, but he had a very few number of models, but they were so popular that I didn't speak to him personally, but I am guessing that he said, I feel confident that based on the reaction that I'm getting now, I can do that. One of the things that is a question also is, are you going to have your Patreon or Thangs, I'll mention Thangs specific, but, or printables, clubs, are you going to have it where you join as a member and you get things and you don't individual sale? Right? Because that is a possibility to say, I want that model so badly that I'm willing to go ahead and pay the $10 a month. And then I can get that. Maybe I stay, maybe I don't. And there's also a lot of other, and I'm sure you've seen this too. Some designers will say, you join and you can have 6 models every month. That's what you get, right? Other designers will say, Clockspring, I know, he's like, you know what? I don't want to deal with it. I'm going to trust people. The ones who want to take advantage of it are going to. You join his Patreon, you have access to his entire catalog. It's like 600 models, something crazy, right? And you just get that immediately. And that's easier for him. He doesn't want to deal with it. So that's another thing. But starting too soon, I think if you feel like you're getting a good response from what you already have, I think it's not going to hurt. And does anyone have a story counter to that? Know someone or started a Patreon or things and just didn't get a response, and then that was damaging? I mean, if you have it, you can always release free models and then build it back up. Thoughts? Anyone?
I think starting a Patreon is always kind of nerve-wracking because you're like, I'm going to have 0. Well, nobody's going to follow me. And when you have that one, it's like, oh, it's a little sad. I only have 1. But really, I started my Patreon actually too late because I never tried to. I'm on the other spectrum of being a creator, but I'm trying really not to make it into a full-time job. But along the way, I've been compensated, and it's turning into a job as it gets more serious, as I get more followers. And there were a lot of subscribers that wanted to support me, and I never gave them that opportunity. And I never started a Patreon. And when I did start a Patreon, I'm actually not taking any of the funds from it, but actually giving it back to the community, where all the Patreon money is actually going to a product that we are purchasing as a group and giving to one of the patrons. So, so in that way, you know, we're all working together to give people who are not as fortunate to be able to prioritize a 3D printer into their life, but they're very interested into the hobby. Or we've also given away CNC lasers and also filaments when we can. So every month's kind of different based on how much Patreon there is. But that's, you know.
That's a great. Does anyone know of 3D Printy? Have you seen 3D Printy's work? Okay, 3D Printy, he's absolutely fabulous. And if you would know, you see his hands, and he does overhead. He's got great work, and I'm on a call with him every now and then. It's a group call with other makers, and so many times people have said, you could do this, or you should do this. He does not want to make this into a job. He wants to do it for fun, and he could very easily do Patreon. People would be very happy to do that, but he does not. In fact, he has not even monetized his channel on YouTube, specifically because he doesn't. So, but I like that idea. Next time someone brings it up, I'm going to say, you know what you could do? You could take it and turn around. That's beautiful. I love that.
That's great. Actually, to your point too, I have to ask the crowd: how many of you out there are actively resisting making this like any kind of money-making operation? Because I talk about it on my podcast a lot. That sometimes no is actually the better choice because it takes a lot of the passion away from like the joy of the hobby. Anyone? Would never want it to be a business. Just it would sap the joy. Yeah. See, I think a lot of people feel that way.
Oh wait, I have
Good
a
counterpoint.
I have a not. So people ask me, they're like, who especially don't understand 3D printing. Well, how do you what? Yeah, and I'll say, well, I'm in the middle, right? I work with the companies that produce the filament. I get to show the filament to people, but I don't sell anything. So my interaction is with the companies, and it's very specific with that. And I also have my husband, is he in here? I hope he's not in here. He's back in the back.
There's
He's
Chris.
in the back.
Everybody say hi, Chris. The support
Hey,
structure.
Chris.
Yeah, hey,
He's
Chris.
Way back. Actually, yeah, he's the one. So I'll tell that in a second, but I know we're running out of time. But I still buy filament. I love buying filament. It's just that hit, right? You're like, oh, I can't wait to get that filament in the mail. But so I still buy filament, but that sounded bad. But I do that because I don't want to show only filament the companies want me to show. I want to show what I'm excited about.
Courtney, this is absolutely fantastic. We're going to wrap up here, but
Okay.
if you have more questions for you, you're going to be here the rest of the day.
I am. Wait, yeah.
Quick question from Daniel.
Do I what?
Do you peel the filament or do you poke it to open the filament bag?
Peel or poke to open? That's a fantastic question.
Okay, I used to jab them all, and we would do videos, and be like, psh. And we used to do that. That was really popular. Psh, you hear it and tear, and Chris would do this kind of thing, and then people were like, you're. So now I'm like, is it a resealable bag? And then I cut it, and I make a point of opening it, pulling it, putting it over here.
Who's on Team Peel?
Otherwise, I'm
Who's
like,
on Team Peel? Who's on Team Peel? When you open your filament, do you peel it open? Team Peel? Just one? Really? And you're all a bunch of pokers, huh? You just stab it right in the middle?
Yeah,
Pokers.
yeah.
Okay.
All
right.
I'm a poker
Team poke.
unless it. Yeah. I'm going to do it. I'm going to have it. Yeah, that actually. I know we're slightly over, but I did want to say that I am in the resisting category. A lot of people have said you should start a Patreon, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know. I've been resisting that.
Well, you've given us a lot of food for
Yeah.
thought. Again, please give it up for Courtney. Filament Stories here.
Thank you.
Ask her
all.
questions. We love her.
Watch our project zoom.